Okay, so here we go, Stage 10, Final Egg. This is actually the last level of Sonic's playthrough. Now, you're probably thinking, I'm looking at my timer right now, this has been about 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's very long, but Sonic's playthrough is honestly the longest of all the playthroughs. For probably good reason, because it is Sonic the Hedgehog, it is his game series, so naturally we'd be seeing the most with his story. But yeah, like all of the other character playthroughs will probably take, I don't want to say half the amount of time, but, you know, probably around like an hour 30 as opposed to 2 hours and 30. You also have to keep in mind that I was explaining a lot of the game mechanics and showcasing the Chow Garden and stuff like that, so that's stuff I won't necessarily be doing later on, so I think we'll be good for showcasing the rest of the stories in a timely fashion. But this level's actually pretty cool. I do really like this level. It's the perfect final level for the game, I feel like. Because it does have some very dangerous traps, but it's also very, very cool looking too. It's very mechanical, but also like there's some other really cool things about it as well, as we'll see as we go through here. Just, I don't know, a really neat level for the eyes. It also has some really nice music, too. So this part right here, you actually do need to be a little careful, because I think if you fall in that area, you will die. Which is funny, because we're going straight to the bottom of that room anyway. I think it's just the principle of the thing. So yeah, you do have some kind of risky platforming here you have to deal with. But I think it's already over. Oh, no, it's not. It's never over. It's never over until you get that transition. Oh boy. But yeah, so far, I think this has been a good playthrough so far. It's been fun revisiting this. I can't really call it a classic game from my childhood. That's more in line with the Sonic the Hedgehog games on Genesis. But, you know, it's a game that has, I think, been it's been a swell addition to my gaming career, I'd say. It's like I said before, though, like, this was a game I was honestly not the biggest fan of when I first played it. I just thought it was very rough around the edges. I played Sonic Adventure 2, which was way more polished, so because of that, obviously I was less impressed with this game, but, you know, when you really kind of think about it, like, this is the first, like, fully 3D game. I think there's other games that have tried kind of a 3D style with Sonic. 3D Blast kind of being one, but the difference between 3D Blast and like this game is obviously 3D Blast is isometric as opposed to being like fully 3D. So it was kind of like 3D, but like still in like a 2D environment. Also, I have no idea how I fell off right there, and I wasn't dead, but yeah, there was no way I was recovering from that. But yeah, there are other games that have tried kind of like some form of 3D, just not being like a fully 3D Sonic game. 3D Blast being one of them. Even like Sonic R tried like some kind of 3D stuff, but even then, not really 3D. There's also Sonic Jam, which I don't know a whole lot about Sonic Jam. I know it was for the Sega Saturn. And the whole idea of that was to kind of create a 3D Sonic game. Also, I keep dying here. Like, the idea was to create a 3D Sonic game with it. It had, like, even kind of a nice little overworld you could kind of explore with 3D Sonic, but it wasn't actually a 3D Sonic game. It just was kind of a 3D hub world that gave you access to other games of the Sonic franchise. That's pretty much what Sonic Jam was. Because there you could play like Sonic 2, I believe, and I think some of the other games too. But yeah, this is like the first, like, again, I think when people say 3D Sonic games, this is the first that they go to, and kind of the point I was trying to make was, because this was like the first 3D full adventure of Sonic, clearly there are going to be some issues. Like, I think that's something you can't really overlook. Obviously, there'll be some issues. Also, what am I doing? Fast way you can kind of clear these guys out, I guess. I don't even think you have to do that. Or maybe you do. Oh no, they just keep coming out of here anyway. Okay, where exactly am I going? Here? No, because that's where I entered. Oh, this is where I want to go. That's right. So yeah, there are like a lot of like I think the perfect words to describe it is that this game is very rough around the edges, but like back in the day, this was, you know, this was what a lot of people considered to be an amazing Sonic game because it was the first one to go to 3D, and a lot of people remember it because of it. Anyone who had a Dreamcast probably like thinks very highly of this game because of back in those days. Yeah, this was probably like considered to be a really, really good game and probably the best of what the Dreamcast had to offer at that point. But then when you like progress a few years later and gameplay for other games has improved so much, even in the Sonic franchise, yeah, it starts to look not as great, but still, like, you have to give it some credit, I feel like, and that's something that took me a while. It took me a while before I could admit that I really, really liked this game. I still like 2 more, but again, like, there are definitely some things I do enjoy about this game as well. For all the, like, for the presentation aspect of it, which I feel like these days a lot of people get a bigger kick out of making fun of this game as opposed to playing this game. And I kind of get that because of how rough around the edges it is, and again, how awkward the presentation and like the cutscenes are. Still, I think there's some fun to be had with the gameplay too, and I think that the sooner you realize that, the more you can accept this game for what it is. Because I'm sure if there is no one who's seen this game before and they've been watching this playthrough, they've probably been thinking, really? Is this game really that great? Because it honestly looks kind of weird to be playing. And again, I can fully understand that. So yeah, definitely something I wanted to talk about before getting to the end of this first playthrough. Because we have 5 other playthroughs to get through in this game before we're done. We have the Tails playthrough, the Knuckles playthrough, the Amy playthrough, the E102 Gamma playthrough, and even the Big the Cat playthrough, which is that's probably the one I have the most to say about. Maybe the most negative things to say about, but probably not for the reasons you guys are thinking. Well, okay, maybe that's not true. You guys know me, so you probably know the exact reasons I have for not really liking that, but yes. I'll save that for when we're actually in that part. Like I said, throughout this game, I'm only going to be giving, like, an analysis of my opinion of the game. I'm not going to be making fun of everything, like I feel like a lot of playthroughs on YouTube do of this game, which, honestly, it gets tiring, it gets overplayed at that point. How convenient that he had a rocket ship right there. Okay, so here we go. The final boss of Sonic's playthrough. We have the Egg Viper. So, yep, we're going to have a straight-up battle with Eggman to close this out. I think there's no better way to do this, I feel like. And honestly, I think this is a pretty cool boss, too. It can be, as this game is, a little rough around the edges, of course, but still, I think it does a good job of kind of, I guess, summing up this playthrough in a nutshell in terms of, like, using everything you've learned from this playthrough and then taking out this Egg Doctor once and for all. Also, I did not mean to just stand there. I was honestly not expecting that. So here's where you'll really use the homing attack to your advantage as you bounce off those colored sections of his body to get to him. Also, you gotta love the stuff Eggman says during this boss fight. So yeah, you basically just repeat the process until you get him down. At some point he will kind of change his attack pattern a little bit. But not yet. Not yet. He's still using the laser strategy. We'll see how that plays out for him. Oh, okay. We have a divergence here. He did something different. Gotta give him a little credit for that. What do we got next? Oh, still lasers. I guess he's really, really fond of these lasers. Okay, so here's a new part of this fight. He'll shoot those flying discs at you. But even then, it's not really too bad. Okay, looks like he's getting rid of the secondary platform, so now he's gonna focus just on one part of the stage to get us. We only have one more hit to go. And there. Yep, he is up to something, that's for sure. No! Oh, I died on the desperation attack. Oh, hold on, guys. I can't believe I frickin' died on the desperation attack. So yeah, you have to avoid this last attack if that wasn't incredibly obvious. And there we go. Eggman defeated. Of course I frickin' die on the frickin' desperation attack. My god. Such a SlimKirby thing to do right there. Such a SlimKirby thing to do. Hey, buddy, what's going on? I'm gonna run away from you now. But yeah, there we go. The day has been saved. We stopped Chaos, we stopped Eggman. We've done our part as the hero of this game, and now we can sit back and relax as Sonic starts singing his own theme song to Tails right there, and making one last dramatic pose. Because I am such a huge fan of the idea of characters having theme songs for their individual playthroughs, I'm going to be silent during this next part so you can listen to Sonic's theme and by extension all of the other character themes when we get to those specific playthroughs. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is Sonic's story. I hope you guys really enjoyed. Had a lot of fun playing this again. But Do not fret. That is only the beginning of this playthrough. Probably the longest part of this playthrough, the longest character playthrough. But we still have 5 more characters to play through, each with their own unique twists and their own unique journey and story along the way. So I hope you guys are ready for that. But yeah, I didn't want to talk through that because one of my favorite things about the 3D Sonic games are the character themes. And what we just listened to was Sonic's theme. Doesn't Matter. Such a really, really good song. I love that song so much. It's really cool both in this game and the SA2 variant. A lot of people argue like which variant is better. Honestly, I love them both for different reasons. This one's kind of like, I like the instrumentation a little better in this version for this game, while I kind of like the vocals and the tempo of the vocals a lot better in the second game, because I feel like the vocalist, I think it's the same vocalist for both renditions of the song, but in this rendition he's just a little slower here, which isn't bad. It's just I feel like with Sonic a faster tempo makes more sense. That's just the kind of way I feel about it, but I love that theme so much. It's so good and sounds so cool. Probably, again, we have 5 other character themes to listen to, but probably my favorites of the main 6. But again, we'll be listening to all of them. I'll give my main opinion on that at the very end of the project. But next time, we're going to say hello to our good friend's Tails and kind of see how his journey through this story unfolds. Now, because Tails is with Sonic a large majority of the game, we'll be seeing a lot of the same stuff. But regardless, I'm still going to show all the cutscenes, even if we've seen them before, because there are still differences, believe it or not. And I feel like that's kind of what makes each playthrough unique. Even if there are similarities in some respects, there are differences too, so it's not like you're just seeing the whole thing again. And I think Tails, his gameplay style, even though it is very similar to Sonic's, it does change up his levels as well. But like I said, these levels are going to be, or these stories are going to be a lot shorter than Sonic's. Sonic has 10 stages. I think the most any of these other characters get is 5. It's either 5 or 6, so roughly about half the length of Sonic's playthrough. But again, that's just a very rough estimation. There's still like a lot of cutscene stuff, a lot of overworld stuff, so you know, there's going to be substance, there's going to be content, but they're not going to be as long as Sonic's playthrough. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time for the Tails, or the start of the Tails playthrough. So again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Later, folks.